there is a silent war happening each morning, a battle between the version of you that wants to sleep and the version of you that wants to rise. And the truth is, how you start your morning is how you shape your destiny. This isn't about productivity hacks or morning routines borrowed from influencers. This is about declaring war on mediocrity the moment your feet hit the floor. It's about reclaiming the first hour of your day before the world gets a chance to tell you who you are or what you're worth. Because when you wake up and immediately reach for your phone, when you flood your mind with other people's noise, other people's opinions, other people's drama, you have already surrendered. You've already lost the most important battle of the day, the battle for your mind. Let me remind you, the morning isn't just the start of a new day, it's the front line of your future. Every morning is a vote for who you want to become. And the truth? Winners don't rise at dawn because it's easy. They rise because it's necessary. Necessary to think while the world is still quiet. Necessary to train while others sleep. Necessary to remind themselves daily who they really are. Think about this. Edison didn't wait until noon to invent the light bulb. Ford didn't build the future in the comfort of the afternoon. And Carnegie didn't forge steel in silence. He rose early, thought deeply, and took massive, decisive action. Your legacy is not built in one grand moment. It's built in a repetition of seemingly insignificant acts, like what you do in the first 60 minutes of your morning. Do you sit in silence, or do you scroll endlessly? Do you prime your mind with vision and gratitude? Or do you get pulled into chaos before you've even had the chance to define your focus? Because here's the universal law. Your outer world will always reflect the inner order or disorder of your morning. The successful, the fulfilled, the unstoppable. They don't win by chance. They win because every morning they recommit. They recommit to their vision, to their habits, to their goals, to their standard. You see, success is not a destination. It's a rhythm, a frequency, a habit. And the most powerful habit on earth is the habit of intentional mornings. Because when you own the morning, you command the day. You lead your life from a place of creation, not reaction. And that one shift alone separates the dreamers from the doers. So ask yourself now, not tomorrow, not next year, what version of you wakes up tomorrow? The one who hits snooze on their life? Or the one who rises with fire in their chest and purpose in their veins? Because you don't need another motivational quote. You need to look in the mirror and say, "Today I rise." Because when you say, "Today I rise," you're not just talking about getting out of bed. You are speaking directly to the deepest part of your soul. You are waking up the warrior inside, the one who remembers that life owes you nothing, and yet offers everything to the one bold enough to claim it. Understand this. Every excuse dies in the light of the morning. Every fear, every doubt, every lazy whisper of, "I'll do it later," it burns away the second you decide to take command of your first hour. Do not wait for motivation. Motivation is fleeting. Motivation is a mood. But discipline is eternal. Discipline is what carries kings through storms and forges empires from dust. And discipline begins the moment you wake up. This is where most people fail. Not in the big decisions, but in the small, quiet ones. The choice between 5 more minutes of sleep or 5 minutes of intention. The choice between grabbing your phone or grabbing your journal. The choice between reacting to the world or creating your own. Because mornings are not about tasks. They're about energy, about aligning your body, your mind, and your spirit before the chaos of life tries to pull them apart. Greatness does not begin in the spotlight. It begins in silence, in solitude, in those sacred hours when the rest of the world sleeps and you are left alone with your purpose. Abraham Lincoln once said, "Give me 6 hours to chop down a tree, and I will spend the first 4 sharpening the axe." The morning is your sharpening, your time to prepare, to think, to plan, to visualize, to elevate your frequency before stepping into battle. And if you skip that, you don't enter your day with strength. You enter it unarmed, unfocused, unprepared. And the world does not care. It will devour the weak. It will consume the distracted. It will reward the ones who prepared when nobody was watching. So train your mind like a soldier trains for war. Get up while your doubts are still asleep. Move your body before anxiety can take hold. Feed your mind before fear gets a chance to whisper. Because when you own the first hour, the rest of the day belongs to you. You become a force. You become a builder, not just of goals, but of character. And character is the foundation of everything you seek. Don't tell me you want to change your life and then keep waking up like nothing is at stake. Everything is at stake. Your dreams, your self-respect, your family's future, your potential. It's not just a morning, it's a message you send to the universe. I'm not here to survive, I'm here to dominate. And domination doesn't happen by accident. It is a result of deliberate mornings, intentional rituals, decisions made when no one's clapping. And here's the truth. If you don't win the morning, you'll spend the rest of your day recovering. From decisions you didn't make, from clarity you never claimed, from energy you failed to generate. But when you win the morning, you don't chase the day. The day chases you. It bends to your will, your focus, your momentum. You walk into rooms differently. You speak with power. You act with certainty. You become dangerous. Not in a reckless way, but in a way that says, I know who I am, and I know where I'm going. And that kind of clarity, that kind of inner alignment, it's magnetic. It moves mountains. It turns average men into legends. Because all success, all transformation, begins within. And the most powerful doorway to the within is the first hour of the morning. So decide right now, what kind of day are you about to build? Because that day is a brick in the house of your legacy. And how you lay that brick starts the moment you open your eyes. Because once you've seized the morning, once you've planted the flag and claimed your time with intention, you've already won half the battle of life. But the morning is not just about discipline, it's about vision. Because without vision, discipline becomes routine, empty, mechanical. But with vision, discipline becomes devotion, a ritual of alignment between where you are and where you demand to go. When you rise early and sit with yourself in silence, you're not just avoiding distractions. You're tuning into the frequency of your future. You are painting the masterpiece in your mind before you ever touch the canvas of reality. Napoleon Hill said, "Whatever the mind can conceive and believe, it can achieve." But let me tell you something no one wants to say out loud. Most people never conceive anything powerful because they never slow down long enough to see it. They never give their vision a chance to breathe. They rush into the day reactive, panicked, chasing fires, and then wonder why their life feels like it's slipping through their fingers. But the rare few wake with purpose. They visualize their goals like sacred vows, spoken before the day has a chance to get noisy. They picture themselves speaking on stages, building empires, moving mountains, and then they step into the day with the intention of someone already living it. Because here's the law: you don't get what you want, you get what you are prepared to receive. And preparation begins with mental rehearsal, with seeing the outcome so clearly in your mind that reality has no choice but to bend toward it. Winners don't stumble into success. They imagine it so vividly, so relentlessly, that it begins to feel inevitable. That's what the morning gives you, the space to become the architect of your own destiny. While others are still trying to remember where they left their keys, you're already in motion. While others are checking notifications, you're checking in with your purpose. While others are drifting, you are declaring your identity, declaring your goals, declaring the day. And day by day, those declarations stack like bricks in a temple, each one aligned, each one intentional, each one yours. That's how legacies are built. Not in noise, but in intentional solitude. Not in public applause, but in private commitment. And here's the secret: momentum compounds. When you win one morning, it creates energy for the next. When you win 3 mornings in a row, you start to feel different. When you win 30, people start asking what changed. But they'll never understand, because they didn't see what happened in the dark. They didn't see the cold showers, the early alarms, the journaling by candlelight, the workouts before sunrise, the tears, the self-talk, the repetition. They'll call it luck, or talent, or timing. But you'll know. You'll know it started the moment you stopped negotiating with your potential. The moment you said, "I refuse to be casual with my dreams." The moment you decided that excuses don't belong in your morning. Because here's the brutal truth: excuses love comfort. Excuses love late mornings. Excuses love waiting. But vision loves action. Vision loves clarity. Vision loves the sacred silence of the early hours, where only you and your future exist. So write the vision. See it clearly. Speak it out loud if you have to. I am becoming a disciplined, focused, powerful version of myself. I am creating a life of abundance, contribution, and purpose. I am rising, not to survive, but to dominate this day with presence and power. Repeat it, believe it, own it. Because when you believe it long enough, reality starts to believe it too. Because identity is not something you find. It's something you forge. Every morning, with every disciplined act, with every intentional choice, you are carving out a version of yourself the world has never seen before. And here's the raw truth most people never face: you are becoming someone, whether you like it or not. The question is, are you becoming that person on purpose? Or are you letting circumstance mold you into a weaker version of who you could be? Because without direction, without ritual, without daily command, life will shape you by default. And life, when left to randomness, never builds a masterpiece. Only deliberate creators do that. And deliberate creation begins at dawn. Each morning you are handed a blank canvas, and you have 2 choices. You can let yesterday paint it for you, or you can step forward, brush in hand, with vision, clarity, and fire in your chest, and create something the world will never forget. That's the true gift of the morning. Not just energy, not just silence, but the power to reset your identity, to release the fear, to rewrite the narrative, to say, I am no longer the person who quits. I am no longer the person who hides. I am no longer the person who waits. Because this morning, you are not chained to who you were. This morning, you get to choose who you become. And that choice is your superpower. Understand this. The world is starving for people who live with intention. Not noise, not reaction, not mindless routine, but intention, purpose, presence. You don't need to be perfect. You just need to show up in the morning like someone who's done negotiating with mediocrity. And when you do that enough, when you string together mornings of clarity, action, and belief, something begins to shift inside you. You start speaking differently. You walk differently. You hold your head up, not with arrogance, but with certainty. You stop waiting for permission. You stop asking if you're ready. You stop hoping someone will come save you. You become your own savior. And that is what changes your life. Not one big moment, not a lucky break, but thousands of quiet victories in the dark, thousands of mornings where no one's watching, thousands of choices to rise when comfort begs you to stay small. And every single one of those mornings, they become evidence. Evidence that you're no longer who you used to be. Evidence that you are not drifting. You are directing. Evidence that the life you used to only dream about is becoming real, brick by brick, hour by hour, choice by choice. So don't you dare tell me the morning doesn't matter. The morning is everything. It's the ignition switch for your destiny. It's where self-respect is built. It's where confidence is born, not from affirmation, but from alignment. From knowing that your actions match your ambition, that your behavior mirrors your beliefs, that your discipline reflects your desires. You want to change your life? Start by mastering your mornings, because the person who wins the morning doesn't just win the day. They win their future. They win their mind. They win their freedom. And in a world full of people sleepwalking through life, there is no power greater than a human being who chooses to rise, fully awake, heart on fire, and eyes locked on destiny. Because the true purpose of winning the morning isn't just about personal pride, it's about powerful execution in the real world. What you do in that first sacred hour echoes throughout the next 23. It sets the tone. It defines your standard. And over time, it creates a ripple effect. From your mind, to your habits, to your results, to your entire life. But here's where most people fail. They start strong, but they don't stay strong. They rise early once or twice, and when results don't show immediately, they retreat. They treat mornings like motivation instead of mission. But hear this. Your results are a lagging indicator of your standards. And if you don't raise your standards and hold the line, especially when it's cold, especially when it's hard, especially when no one's clapping, you'll never cross the threshold into greatness, because the universe does not reward the inconsistent. It rewards the relentless. Every time you choose discipline over delay, you build something stronger than muscle or wealth. You build identity. And when your identity becomes rooted in excellence, you stop sabotaging your progress. You stop being surprised by your own results, because deep down, you knew. You knew the person you were becoming. You knew the days were stacking. You knew the results were coming. You knew it was only a matter of time before the world caught up to the power you'd already stepped into. That's why winning the morning is so much more than a productivity tool. It's a mirror. It shows you who you really are when nobody's watching. Because anyone can be focused when the lights are on. Anyone can move when there's applause. But the real ones, they move in the dark. They build when it's silent. They rise when no one sees it. Because they're not performing, they're becoming. That's legacy. Legacy doesn't begin with wealth. It begins with inner wealth. The kind that can't be stolen. The kind that wakes you up before dawn with fire in your belly and clarity in your veins. The kind that says, I don't care who's watching. This is who I am now. And that identity, it will carry you through storms. It will carry you through heartbreak, through doubt, through rejection. Because you'll have something no one can give you. And no one can take away. Momentum. And momentum is the most dangerous force on earth when it belongs to someone with vision. Because when you combine clarity, belief and action, day after day, morning after morning, you become inevitable. It's no longer a matter of if you'll succeed. It's only a matter of when. But this requires absolute honesty. You can't lie to yourself in the morning. The bed will ask you, how serious are you really? The silence will ask, do you have the courage to face your thoughts? The cold floor will ask, are you still chasing comfort, or are you here to conquer? And your answer, every single morning, is what builds or breaks your future. You are not behind, you are not too late, but you are responsible. And responsibility doesn't mean perfection. It means ownership. So, own your life. Own your time. Own your potential. Start by owning the first hour of your day, every day, until it becomes sacred. Because here's the brutal truth most people ignore. The person you want to become is already inside you, waiting for you to get serious enough to meet them. And that meeting happens at 5 a.m. It happens when the alarm goes off and you don't negotiate. It happens when you choose to move, to breathe, to write, to lift, to sit in silence, to visualize, to remember who you really are, because the world will try to make you forget. It will try to distract you with cheap dopamine, fake urgency, and meaningless noise. But the morning is your anchor. It's where you remember your mission, your reason, your why. And if you guard it, if you honor it, if you defend it with the full force of your will, you will rise into a version of yourself that commands success, instead of begging for it. Because, in the end, this is not just about mornings. It's not just about rituals or routines or waking up early for the sake of discipline. This is about becoming the kind of person who no longer waits for life to change, because they have become the force that changes it. Every morning you rise with purpose. Every time you silence the alarm of fear and answer the call of greatness, you are rewriting your story. You are burning the script that told you to stay small. You are silencing the voices that said, you're not ready. You're not enough. You don't have what it takes. And you are replacing those lies with one eternal truth. I will become everything I was meant to be, because I choose to show up. You want to know what separates those who live their dream from those who die with it still buried inside? It's not luck. It's not talent. It's not opportunity. It's consistency. It's the ability to say yes to your calling every single morning, no matter how you feel, even when no one's watching, even when no one understands, even when nothing seems to be working. Especially then. That's the test. That's the proving ground. That's where your real life is forged, in the unseen hours. And if you can own that moment, if you can master that sacred space between who you've been and who you're becoming, then nothing can stop you. Because you're no longer hoping for success. You're demanding it with your actions, your attitude, your alignment. You don't speak like everyone else. You don't move like everyone else. You don't wake like everyone else. You rise with certainty. You rise with rhythm. You rise with the full force of your mission behind your eyes. You rise because you know who you are and where you're going. And that kind of person is unshakable, unbreakable, unstoppable, because they built a foundation no storm can touch, and it started with a single decision: to win the morning. Not once, not twice, but every day until it becomes who you are, until it's no longer something you do, it's something you embody. And once you reach that point, once that power becomes part of your blood, your identity, your walk, your breath, you don't just win the day, you own your life. So rise tomorrow with fire, with gratitude, with focus, with silence, with movement, with vision, with purpose. Win that hour, and the day is already yours. And if you string enough of those days together, you wake up one day and realize you've become the person you once only dreamed of. Because success didn't knock on your door. You built the door. You lit the fire. You stood up before the world could tell you who to be. You won the morning. And because of that, you are now unstoppable. You are now free. You are now undeniable. Now get up. Own the next one. Everything you want is on the other side of the next sunrise.